mental health, especially with Black men, is huge.
It's a weakness.
It's a weakness. And the reality is your brain is a muscle like anything else on your body. Everyone has a cap on their capacity. And if their capacity is full, you could be doing backflips, front flips. You could be the best. The sex could be amazing. All these things could be amazing in that relationship. But if that person's capacity and desire to grow isn't there, then you hit that wall.
Sometimes when shitty things happen to you, you have to forgive the people that did you wrong, not because they deserve it, but because you need to heal and you deserve better for yourself, and you got to let that go. And when you don't let that stuff go, and in our A block today, young Jeezy dropped an interview where he detailed a lot of details about his life, a lot of the things that went on in his life. Can he play a couple clips, please, so that people can see some of the things that the snowman went through?
Hey, I think there was several things. I think the first was being left with a babysitter that was a woman that was older than me. I mean, that was older, and her, touching and doing things to me that don't normally happen to kids. Right?
Like molesting.
Right, basically. Second thing was that I had this lady that lived next door to us in an apartment. She was married to this guy. They had 2 kids. And it was around my age, and I used to hang out with them. They got into an argument.
Yeah.
And I heard them, and I heard that saying before, you wait till I get back. I'll be right back. And sure enough, he came running upstairs, and he went in the closet, right? And when he was going in the closet, he was thumbing through the closet. And I saw when he pulled it out, it was like a big, had to be like a silver 357.
Oh my God.
And I looked at them, and I immediately was like, yo, we gotta hide. So I went and climbed under the sink in the bathroom and hid. And I heard some yelling, and all I heard was pow, pow, pow.
He killed the wife?
He didn't kill her. He shot her like 4 times.
Oh my God.
Right?
Do you have siblings at this
My
point?
brother died when we was younger.
What did it do to your mother?
I mean, my mother had a very toxic relationship.
You and your mom?
Yes. I feel like my mother, it came from her not being raised right. Very violent, very verbal, very cold. When I left my mother's house, I had to be around 13, 14 maybe.
Yeah.
And the reason why I left because she pulled a gun on me, right? Okay. And basically told me you're going to either do what I say or I'm going to take you out of this world type thing.
First thing I want to say is originally I was very skeptical. I know Jeezy's coming out with an album pretty soon. I know he just recently got divorced. I know he sells books. I know he's an entrepreneur. So I'm like, hey, what are you trying to sell? What's your end? What are you up to, right? Okay. Because that's what I originally thought it was. But I actually sat down and watched a lot of the conversation, and it was a very good conversation that I feel like a lot of us need to have instead of talking about body counts and BBLs and OnlyFans. I think we should have more conversations with Nia Long and Jeezy were talking about. When I heard that him and Jeannie Mai got divorced like a month or so ago, we did an episode about it. I said, why was this just so quick? Like, they got married, they had a child, and all of a sudden it's just irreconcilable differences. It just wasn't gonna work. To me, that just didn't make sense. And things that were coming out, it wasn't satisfying what I was looking for. But when I watched this interview, it made a lot more sense to me, at least from Jeezy's point of view. We don't know about Jeannie Mai. She's been quiet.
She's been really quiet.
But when I listened to Jeezy talk about this, it was like, nah, homeboy really never had a chance. The chances of him having a successful marriage never really had a chance. And I could tell because Jeezy has not healed from his past. Okay. Even though the interview says, I'll forgive, but I'll never forget, it doesn't look like he's really forgiven his mom for pulling a gun on him as a child. It doesn't sound like he's forgiven whoever that was who has, molested him. It doesn't sound like he's forgiven one of the dudes who he thought was one of his friends who was setting him up to get whacked. It doesn't sound like he's forgiven them. And I know it's easy for me to sit up here, my fancy microphone, and talk about how he needs to forgive people who've traumatized him and effectively, if he wasn't a rapper, let's be honest, would have ruined his life. Yeah. It's easy for me to say that. But the reality is that sometimes when shitty things happen to you, You have to forgive the people that did you wrong, not because they deserve it, but because you need to heal and you deserve better for yourself. And you got to let that go. And when you don't let that stuff go, it affects you. And some of the stuff that happened with him was really traumatizing and really, 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 really disturbing. And seeing that those things happened to him tells me, yeah, okay, I can kind of understand why this marriage wasn't going to work. So some of the things that he said was, him and Nia Long both said they never had role models growing up. They didn't know what a successful marriage looked like.
My relationship with my father was probably very toxic.
Also,
Well, because he wasn't there.
okay.
I didn't have the example of what a family was supposed to look like.
Right.
The first thing before you marry someone, it's like, well, what is his relationship like with his mother?
They didn't know what that looked like. So, hey, how can I build a house without a blueprint? How can I make dinner without the ingredients or the recipe? How can I do that?
Yeah.
You can't. So that's number one. Number two, sometimes when people get major trauma in their life, they make decisions based off said trauma. So, for example, if you get called slow, dumb, stupid, all through elementary, middle school, and high school, are you going to want to go to college? Hell no, right? If every girl you ever met say, damn, you ugly, you ever going to want to talk to girls? No, you ain't going to have no confidence. And it's the same thing here. If you've just grown up on just bullshit where you just get traumatized and generational trauma is passed down to you that your parents gave to you like a Christmas present, hey, that is going to affect you in the same way it's affected him. And we don't know, did he pick Jeannie Mai because that was the mom he wished he had? Did he pick Jeannie Mai because he wanted a family and he thought, okay, this is a nice girl, I can have a family with her? Did he pick Jeannie Mai because of, she was the opposite of his mom, and then when they got into an argument, it reminded him of his mom, so he left? These are all the things you got to think about when it pertains to someone who's gone through major traumatic events. And the issues have never been addressed. There's never been self-reflection. He said it himself. He was out in the streets.
Yeah.
He was doing shit he's not supposed to be doing.
So one was not feeling safe and protected when you were molested.
Right.
Two was a void of love and compassion and acceptance from your mom.
Yeah.
And then the third one was, okay, now I'm going to completely disconnect from myself here because there is no love here. And I'm going to go to the streets and I'm going to hustle and I'm going to make money and I'm going to prove that I'm worthy of this love and I'm going to be somebody.
Right.
And that shit never got addressed. It carried over into his relationship, which ultimately turned into a marriage, which was a bad decision. We always talk about girls who have daddy issues. When they don't have a good relationship with their dad, they always pick the Pookie and Ray Rays. They pick trash ass men. It could be the same case here.
You think so?
It could be.
To be honest, being really honest about this, I think it's just Jeezy is just a product of his environment. Like I said, if you're out there in the streets, you don't see you don't know what a healthy marriage is.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I could attest for a lot of black people. We know how it is. Like a lot of us, a healthy marriage or just a marriage in general, a strong marriage is very foreign to a lot of us. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So how do you expect to make one last if you've never seen one before in your life? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? You remember he was at 15 he had to be out there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Getting it. You ain't seen no marriage at that. You might see your grandparents, but that's like old marriage. Like they already done settled down. They don't got nothing to show everybody. They already got used to each other. You know what I'm saying? You don't see that new shit like your parents. You know what I'm saying? So going into something like that with Jeannie Mai, without that kind of knowledge, you're kind of setting yourself up for failure.
Right.
And then you see Nia said something earlier about how a lot of marriages don't work because a lot of people don't like to make themselves smaller. A lot of people don't like to sacrifice or play the part. A lot of people like to keep their past traumas and they don't want to address it. And I feel like Jeezy and Jeannie Mai did not acquiesce to each other. I feel like no one gave their position. They thought they both stood 10 toes down on their beliefs and their culture, and it was never going to work out. Yeah. Like I said, no one wanted to, like I said, Asian household and black household, it's like night and day. And those kind of like interracial like situations, you have to accommodate. You got to change something dramatically or it ain't going to work out. It's a culture war, bro. At the end of the day, so there was no sacrifices on both ends, and we just saw marriage dissolve, basically. This is one of the few occasions I really do feel bad for both sides of the party. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I was raised around like listening to Jeezy and like his story and stuff, and he's a stand-up kind of guy, but you could tell that he's haunted by his past.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of stuff that's going on that he has
Yeah.
no control over
Yeah.
that are like catching up to him today.
Yeah.
And I feel real bad for it because it seems like he's not like a really bad dude. You know what I'm saying? And it seems like his wife or ex-wife, or whatever they want to call it now, right now, she seems like a genuine woman too. I don't, there's no ill will towards her. I feel like they just were in a situation they weren't ready for.
What's up, y'all? I'm Keith.
This is your boy Eddie.
And I appreciate you guys. Let's shoot it again. I messed up. What's up, guys? I'm Keith.
And this is Eddie.
And we want to say, guys, we appreciate you guys watching this entire video, and we would really appreciate it if you would
Like and subscribe.
Okay, that was my line, but we appreciate it if you would like and subscribe. There's more coming where that came from. If I said that right.
Yeah.
More coming where that. Anyways, thank you for watching the video. Please like and subscribe. We will see you next time.